The USS Harry Truman has just returned home from a groundbreaking mission. It was the first carrier deployed as part of the Trump administration's so-called dynamic force employment strategy, which involves warships sailing in unpredictable patterns to confuse potential enemies.
Yeah, really great story. Dana Jacobson boarded the Truman days before its return as part of the CBS This Morning series Coming Home, which follows our nation's service members as they return from deployment. She was with the sailors as they were reunited with their family and friends in a story you'll see only on CBS News.
USS Harry S. Truman, welcome home.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime view as the massive Navy carrier, the USS Harry S. Truman, pulls into port. The thousands of sailors streaming off the boat haven't seen their families in months.
Go see Daddy!
Their history-making mission was a strategic success, but it was, at times, unsettling for the sailors and their families. We flew out to meet the sailors for their final days on board. From the flight deck, the size of 4 football fields, to the cramped hallways.
No one really knows what it's like to be on a ship.
These young men and women in uniform were reflecting on their journey.
What's the hardest thing about being at sea and being away from family?
I'd probably say missing my first child's birth.
For culinary specialist Devin Dias, the mission, his first, has been one of both excitement and sacrifice.
I'm gonna get you.
Devin's wife, Taylor Dias, went into labor in October.
I called my wife. I was like, baby, you all right? Is everything good? She's like, well, I'm just having a baby. I was actually very, very fortunate to be on the phone with her during the birth. So every scream, growl, push, I got to hear. What really changed my perspective was I heard him whenever he first came out, whenever he cried. It actually brought tears to my eyes.
Navy paralegal Faith Guidry Jackson, also on her first deployment, is worrying about her children, too.
I've kind of been out of the loop for 3 months. Has it been harder on any one of the 3? My youngest, Marley, she's 4. She has these night terrors, where she's calling out for me, but I'm not there.
Faith's husband, Levon, has been a solo parent to their 3 kids while working in a barber shop in Norfolk.
It's been crazy. It's been hard. They miss their mom more than anything because they miss that feminine energy that she brings into the house.
The 24/7 nature of the ship keeps the sailors busy, leaving less time to think about those they've left behind. And the Navy provides some comforts of home.
I got a good haircut, so I feel good about myself today.
From a barber shop to a library, even a Starbucks. But there are some things they can't provide. Cryptologic technician Mike Geske and his fiancée, Connie Kolzicki, got engaged over the phone while they were apart.
Connie's the love of my life. I don't know where I would be without her.
But he never officially popped the question with ring in hand.
We were pulling into Portugal earlier than we expected, and my parents somehow found a flight out to Portugal, and I told them, as long as you're coming here, you might as well bring the ring with you.
You excited to meet your dad?
While anxious families at home wait for the last few days of deployment to pass, on the ship, there's still work to be done, like getting the carrier's air wing off. We are one of the last helicopters taking off from the USS Truman. That's why we can't use our normal camera equipment. The planes are gone. Now that the helicopters are gone, all that's left is for the sailors to arrive home, and that comes tomorrow. The family reunions and the overwhelming emotions that come with them begin here.
Weston's lost.
She's lost.
It's over there. Weston! Come on, buddy.
Attack 1-0, over.
Back on board.
I'm a little nervous, I guess.
Nervous, anxious, excited.
Really nervous.
The final days turn to hours, then to minutes. As the sailors line up for the traditional manning of the rails and Naval Station Norfolk comes into view, home is finally within their grasp.
Oh my God, I'm about to cry. I see my baby.
On the pier, anticipation is building. After months apart, those final minutes are agonizing for everyone, especially for a new dad like Devin Dias, about to meet his son for the first time.
Thank you. How's it feel? Want to give me a kiss?
LaVon Jackson doesn't even try to contain his excitement.
So the two of you are together. Now what? Now you want to go get the kids.
Faith's children didn't know that Mom was coming home. Her deployment now over.
Hey guys!
Who's that? Go get her.
Hey baby! I miss you. Hey baby, I miss you.
You all right, man? You can cry. You all right?
I miss you. I miss you too. Hey! Hey!
Back on the pier, sailors step back on land, ready to swap Navy life for home life. And for one young couple,
This is so nerve-wracking. I don't know what to do.
a chance to start theirs.
Now.
Of course. Of course.
I love you.
What a beautiful story. Dana Jacobson is the co-host of CBS This Morning, Saturday. You know, when we think about the amount of time that we all have traveled for stories,
Right.
and just sort of the disconnect and, you know, the reuniting with, you know, your spouse or your children and how difficult that can be. This really puts it in perspective because 7 months, they didn't even know when they were coming back.
Yeah, and
what was that like? I mean, talking to those families.
That was one of the big things. And again, this deployment, the way it's changed, the unpredictability of it is great for the Navy. It's not so great for the families. So it would be, they even did come home for like a couple weeks. Unexpected. It was just a shore stop. And that made it harder, a lot of the families said, both the families at home and the sailors, because you're there but you're not there and you don't know when you're leaving. And when you had those times where you couldn't communicate, not an email, not a text, not a phone call. And that wasn't the whole time, but there was a lot of time like that and you didn't know when that was coming. So it just made what's already difficult even more difficult for
What your story really does reinforce is that when one individual serves, the whole family serves as well. They sacrifice tremendously.
And we're actually on CBS This Morning Saturday in a couple weeks, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we're going to do a little more with the families at home, especially, we obviously saw LaVon there, Faith's husband, a father with 3 kids. We also met up with a couple, a gay couple, a husband at home who says he's often forgotten about because people don't think of husbands as being the spouse left behind. So there really is something that's going on at home. Also, you have to thank, obviously, our members of the military, but when you're a family of military, you're also serving. You're exactly right.
Yeah, what was it like on the ship? I mean, this is basically like a floating city. They try to make it a little homey. They got a Starbucks on there?
Yeah, it's very cool. You know, it is touches of home, so and the Starbucks you have to pay a little extra for. They even have the Starbucks type of prices for them out there.
Wow.
But it's
no discount?
No discount, for at least the prices that I saw.
There's supposed to be discounts for military almost anywhere. You think they'd have it on the ship.
Just the idea of the little things, the personal space, being able to take a shower without having flip-flops on, being able to get your nails done, Faith mentioned, or your hair, little things like that that you forget about, that for 7 months you just want that one moment, or the special food from home that you're not going to get. Those were the things. And even getting there for us, it's crazy. You fly on this plane, it's called a COD, and it's usually bringing on supplies, mail, things like that. So we're on there, you go from about 120 to 150 miles per hour to 0 in less than 2 seconds. And it's the craziest feeling because they trap you. There's a wire that literally grabs you. You just don't have the length that you would have on a normal runway. So you're going, you stop, and I almost didn't realize that we had stopped until I watched the video that one of our photographers shot. Sure enough, we're going, and then you stop within 2 seconds.
But what does that do to you physically?
You sort of feel like there's a force pushing at you and a force pulling at you. It felt like an amusement park ride to me, but maybe that's me. And it just felt like I'm going this way, but I have to pull back
But you didn't
this
get
way.
injured.
Not
No
injured.
injuries.
No injuries. And it really was this amazing ability to get on there, the helicopter off. We didn't get catapulted off. I'm told that one a little less pleasant.
Well, it
Sounds like it.
It's great to see, and our thoughts and prayers are with the families because they definitely have, the continuation.
That's just
after the celebration.
There's a journey now because they have to meet each other again and figure out life together again, and that sometimes is also the forgotten story for these military families.
Very true. Well, thank you for bringing us that story.
Thank you.